well, let's see. I want to say late February of this year.
Okay.
I got a message from a Tony Herrera, telling me all about NFTs.
So let's walk everybody through real quickly. When I first reached out to you about NFTs, I think the conversation went along the lines of, dude, you need to get into NFTs. If you don't understand what NFTs are, you need to understand NFTs. So for the benefit of the audience, what was it like for you going from, once again, because you've been a traditional artist, you worked as a graphic designer, you worked as an illustrator. I know that you're being modest because you have a ton of you've done talks on your in your industry. Just two things. Tell the audience what kind of work you've done in the past, and two, what was your entry into NFTs? What was your experience with it?
Yeah, so I guess I have given some talks. I because I have worked as a designer as well, and motion designer and interactive designer. So I have given talks about the work as a designer, but also a designer who illustrates. So I'm sort of like a crossover kind of artist. I do design, I do illustration, and so I have experience with with digital art, and so so NFTs was a natural transition as well. And so early this year, I knew about Beeple. I heard about Beeple like November of 2019, I think is when I first heard about what was happening with NFTs. And so I was curious about it. But it wasn't until, you, Tony, you reached out to me and were telling me about it. Seeing if you'd be interested in actually providing art for Ether cards, for the launch of Ether cards. And, to be honest, at first I was skeptical. I was like, what is this NFT stuff? And, but after thinking about it and I was sold, you convinced me. And so basically I think late February of this year is when I think I minted my first piece, and I've been at it ever since.
So far, Santiago, you've minted off of several platforms, right? You have a couple of accounts that you mint on. What can you tell us what you mint on?
Yeah, I have some pieces on Foundation, and I have mostly animations there. Mm-hmm. And those have been pretty fun. I tried tried new things for it. I think I have 4 there, and 3 of them were made. Basically, I made them just to be NFTs. Basically, they were brand new. And then I did a piece for async art, so it's sort of like a NFT that changes throughout the day. And then I have a small collection that I started in OpenSea. It's sort of like more of like one of one, just 50 of them. That I guess I'm putting on hold now since I'm working on the Crypto Monster Lab collection.
Okay.
But yeah.
So let's talk about Crypto Monsters Lab since you mentioned it. Tell me a little bit about the project, and I know you've partnered with one of the very talented developers that I'm familiar with, which is Drop Acid, and he's on the stage, and we'll let him speak. But just for the benefit of the audience, how did you come about the Crypto Monsters Lab, and what is the how you came to collaborate with Drop Acid on this particular art drop?
Mm-hmm. So first let me tell you about the story behind Curse. I have been I've been for like the longest time. I've been drawing like cryptids. I just love the stories behind them. And I basically had a collection of illustrations of cryptids that I had, and then I was approached by a couple of folks on the team, and again, at first I was skeptical. I'm always skeptical about these things, but after thinking about it, I thought about those all these monsters that I've drawn, and I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I sort of come up with a story for him. What if there's like this mad scientist that lives in the Pacific Northwest, which is where I live, is obsessed with cryptozoology, right? And like he goes basically for crypto monsters to like bring back to his lab and perform experiments. And basically the experiments involve like it's sort of like a Frankenstein meets cryptozoology where he takes different crypto monsters and makes new monsters out of them, basically.
So that was good. That let's first dive into what a cryptid is. So and what is cryptozoology, right? So for the benefit of the audience, a cryptid is such as the Sasquatch or Loch Ness monster.
Right.
So we know that it has been claimed to exist as kind of like the jackalope, right? Which in the United States we have a cross between an antelope and a jackrabbit, which is a jackalope. So typically cryptids are popular, but we don't know whether cryptids are hold any special powers like the chupacabra, where they have a mythical. We just don't know that they're strange, and some of them can be very popular and legendary in the community. And then with cryptozoology, it's essentially a pseudoscience and a subculture of folklore entities like Bigfoot or Loch Ness monster, right? It's like everybody says that they've sighted Bigfoot or Loch Ness monster, but we've never actually been able to determine whether it actually exists, right? So on that, with that in mind, I'm familiar for audience. I'm very familiar with. I've actually commissioned even before he went and off into his career. He was I think, did I commission your first piece when you're still in? I think you're still getting your master's in fine arts, right, Santiago?
Well, actually, no. So I don't have a master's, but I did. Well, we met basically right after I graduated from college.
Right.
And yeah, and I remember like I walked in with my all my art sandwiched in between like some cardboard and just laid it out for you to see. You were sort of like impressed, unimpressed by the presentation, but but you like the art, so that was cool. But yeah, and then eventually like you commissioned some original work for me, and then also you got me my first art actually solo show back in California.
Yeah, I remember you coming into the office. So this was here in California, I had an office in Santa Ana and Orange County. I think, you brought in with some bunch of art, and then, you're absolutely right. I was kind of like, I didn't really, like, nothing really caught my eye, but I liked the style, right? So I thought, I got a better solution. Let me just commission some art from you, right? So I gave you like some concepts of what I wanted, and then I ended up collecting a bunch of pieces. I actually have a piece here in the office that I have. So for I'm the reason why I reached out to you is because of because I do find you to be a very talented artist, and I figured, what, let me bring him into the ecosystem. So with that, let's talk a lot about who's your projects, or you just describe what Crypto Monsters Lab is. We'll get a little bit into what the roadmap is, but before we get into the roadmap, let's bring in Drop Acid, who's helping you. And so for Drop Acid, you're developing a really good resume of projects you were previously with Deadhead, or still are with Deadhead, and you obviously are the lead dev that did the Ethereans with a little support from Dave. But tell me about how you connected with Santiago, and tell me a little bit about your role in the Crypto Monster Lab.
Hey Tony, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Awesome to talk to you again. Santiago, we actually before Santiago came to us, Sam and I, one of the other member of the team, kind of the silent member of the team. Yeah, me and him were actually looking to start a project, and we were just brainstorming ideas, and we're trying to come up with something. We started the process of looking for the artists, and then I think it was day 2 of that process. You through Santiago, I think you told Sam about Santiago, and then Santiago kind of was referred over to me, and then we started talking, and the second he pitched his idea, it was like the same like you were saying. I've been in the cryptozoology and just interested in it my whole life. I'm just fascinated by these possibly prehistoric animals or whatever that are either legends or they might exist. We don't know. Many of them probably don't exist, but who cares? It's still fun to think that they do and to try to keep searching for them. So when Santiago came with the idea, that was like a no-brainer. I mean, it's such and they're named crypto also, so it's just relates well to the crypto market that we're in. And I was just surprised that I don't know if anyone has done a collection like this before. I haven't really searched, but I have not seen a collection that is based around cryptozoology and NFT yet. So, and then I saw the art and saw his art up to that point. It's pretty amazing. I was like, this is perfect. Let's do it.
Yeah, Santiago has a unique style, and his style does lend itself, I agree, very much to cryptozoology. For those who are familiar with his work, his work is very, very, very rich in color. In the art, he's got a really unique that I've collected his work over the last 20 or so years. So I'm bullish on those art, and I'm really excited about him being able to work with talented individuals like yourself and Sam and other people, because he does have some amazing art that would be great for the world to see it. And the fact that, like you mentioned, Drop said that it involves cryptids and the word crypto, cryptozoology subculture is a great project for Santiago, just because his art lends itself in that way. So I think besides Santiago and Drop Acid, Santiago, what is the timeline looking for? What's next for Crypto Monster Lab? When do you guys launch? What is going to be the mint price? And give us some of the crypto details.
So the public sale will be on November 2nd, and it's going to be 0.08 ETH per. And then we're actually working with a handful of different communities and giving them access, like early access to minting. So, like with the Ethereans, for example, they'll get a chance to mint early. Ether card holders will also get a chance to mint early. If I'm not mistaken, we have Deadheads and the Metas, one more. But yeah, so we want to have all folks, we want to give them a chance to mint early, and all, of course, our early adopters or supporters in Discord will definitely get to mint early. And everyone, that is part of the pre-sale will get a nice surprise too before Halloween.
Oh, great.
Mm-hmm.
What is the website for the project?
Yeah, it's cryptomonsterlab.com.
Okay. Cryptomonsterlab. Okay. And so right now you guys are going to be selling some in the pre-sale. Is there a limit to what you guys will sell in the pre-sale?
So we'll, I think, have up to up to 5,000 for the pre-sale, and it'll be like first come first served, a limit of 3 per transaction.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Great.
And we'll with that next week, and we're gonna have a sort of like a long, just to avoid all the gas wars. We're gonna have a sort of like a long pre-sale, like a week basically for people to do the pre-sale. So we're not everyone's like rushing and just getting into a gas.
Yeah, gas. So speaking of gas wars, so Drop Acid. I know that with other projects we've had those aspects of gas wars. I know that when we did the Ethereans, when you helped us with the Ethereum, I know that Dave and you and I had some conversations about how to avoid the gas wars. Any plans for what are the plans for Crypto Monsters? I know you have a bunch of pre-sales. So is the pre-sale is that one of the sort of goals is to avoid some of the gas wars and the potential minting?
Yeah, I think plan is to try to reward as many people that have, and many collections that we're all part of, and that have really supported us throughout our journeys into NFTs. Just try to give them the opportunity to mint without gas for it, and then, like Santiago said, reward the early people, the early supporters of us. But I think after that possibly, I mean, if everything sells out for the pre-sale, there might be 4,000 remaining. At that point, I mean, there's not much you can do to prevent a gas war on those. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, no, go ahead.
No, yeah, I know you're right, because what you get is all of these projects tend to have a series of FOMO, right? So regardless of how much you want to mitigate that, you will get individuals who suddenly see, oh, these individuals are either minting, this, or people just, they track that, right? There is no secret that in this case, people watch each other, and people, I'm always surprised. I'll be out with friends, and I'll meet somebody new, and they'll go, oh yeah, I minted this of you, or I minted that because of you, and I'm like, really? And I'm really surprised, because I literally was in New York just recently, and a fellow punk, young, who had just graduated from college, he tells me, oh yeah, he goes, I minted when you asked who was minting Bored Apes. He goes, I minted 80 of them. I'm like, 80? And he's like, yeah, I did it. And all because of you. And I'm like, wait, you minted 80 apes? And he's like, yeah.
Wow.
And I go, wow. I said, did you keep them all? He goes, oh no. He goes, I sold them all before they reached. I'm like, whoa, what did you do? He's like, no, I'm good. Because I threw that money into my punk. I go, oh, okay, that works. so at least it worked for him, right? But yeah, so it's these things happen, right? So yeah, so as much as you want to fight the gas wars, some of the gas wars will occur. That's what we do. So that's fine.
Yeah, the only thing I can do on my end is we just try to write the most simplistic mint function that, at least in the contract's not going to contribute to higher gas. But you can't go, the overall gas for the Ethereum network at any given time. So we're hoping maybe that we're launching, like we're kind of publicly announcing this probably about 2 weeks before mint. We're at least, like, it doesn't go crazy like some of these other projects, and we could just have a slow mint through the whole process.
Yeah, I think that's a good strategy. Santiago, I'm going to ask you. I'm on a phone, and I'm unable to pin anything. So you, as a co-host, if you're able to pin some of the links to your project, that would be awesome. For whatever reason, I'm on an Android, and I can't seem to be able to pin anything to the to this particular spaces. But if you can, please do so. Okay, so we have some other people in the room. If anyone has any questions, please raise your hand and ask some questions. I think while we wait to see if anybody has any questions, Santiago, is there anything that you want to add? Anything that we should be aware of your coming project? I am on the website, and I do see the cryptomonsterlab.com. I think you have some really nice, colorful illustrations of some of the cryptids that you're going to be providing. Once again, for the benefit of the audience, we have a live mint date, November 2nd, which is at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and so yeah, so this is going to be really great. I'm going to be minting while at NFT NYC. So this is gonna be really cool. This is like smack in the middle of NFT NYC for those of you who are attending the conference. So yeah, anything that you want?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about the roadmap actually.
Yeah, it's been perfect.
Yeah. So I guess, like, so far, we're just like in the early phase. So we're just getting like the Discord set up, and we're doing like some giveaways. And one of the things that I want to do is, like, I want to share the process with people. And so actually tomorrow I'm going to be doing like drawing live on Discord at 12 p.m. Pacific time. And then another thing that I like is I like collaborating with kids. So we, after the minting, we're gonna, reach out to artists and work with them to collaborate. Like we already have, the Ethereums are down, so there's gonna be like a Crypto Monster and Ethereum collab at some point. And then the fun part of it's going to be the lab. The lab is sort of like the central really of the project, and that's where. So basically, once you have your crypto monsters, you'll be able to create a new species by mixing your crypto monsters, right? So you'll go into the lab, and then basically you'll be able to create your own new species. But that's not the only thing we want to do. We don't want to have like all kinds of things happening in the lab. I mean, we could, it could be like mutations. The crypto monsters also eat ETH berries, and so the ETH berries could also have they could be poisonous. They could maybe make him mutate. There's all kinds of things that could happen with the ETH berries. There might be an alien invasion take over the lab, or the monsters can also take over the lab. We'll have some staking and burning, and also like 13 different monsters in the collection. So for people who have like all 13 monsters, we have some kind of reward for that. And the other thing is I've been marketing for like a long time, and so usually when we market to people, we tell them, the things that we want them to hear. But one thing that I like is that I want to hear people what they want from us, and so I really want like the community to have a voice and how the lab will be shaped. It's like what do they want to do with the lab? Like what are they expecting to get out of it? And so we're gonna start, just I want to engage with the community and have them help us, shape the future of the lab. So because it's really for them, for their benefit. So and then we're gonna have, of course, these are gonna look pretty good on merch. So we're gonna have some. We'll have some merch down the line, and there's gonna be we just been like bouncing around all these stories because of like I said, 13 monsters. They'll have their own backstories, and so there's gonna be like we're gonna have a comic book, to be able to tell all the stories, like how the lab was created, the stories behind the monsters, and like I said, there's like all kinds of directions that we could go into, like a monster takeover of the lab, and it's like there's like a lot of possibilities there. And of course, the metaverse. We want to have some kind of presence for like the lab in the metaverse, or maybe some kind of like science museum of crypto monsters. So it's just crypto monsters everywhere, comic books, merch, metaverse. So. Yeah, so
I did notice, Santiago, that you did release full commercial rights of your NFT. So the holders will have full commercial rights of their creation, right? Of the creation.
Yes. Yeah, they will.
Nice. And I do see on the website that you did list your website. So if anybody's interested, they can see all your other creations on your website, which is santiagoceda.com. So that's great. And then I see the links. So you have obviously the Twitter, the Discord. You have the Discord right now. What is the process for people to register for the pre-sale?
The pre-sale. Well, so like I said, so if they're already like Ether card holders, there's no all the deals like they just go in mint, and they'll be able to have access to the pre-sale. Same with Ethereans, Deadheads, Animetas, and Wicked Brains as well. Wicked Cranium, sorry. They'll also be part of those are the pre-sale. And then for our Discord early supporters, we'll have I think what we do is like we'll maybe provide like a link for them, like probably like in a special like a channel on our Discord. We haven't really figured out exactly that part, but they'll have access.
Great. So people, we encourage people to go to the website, and then essentially on your website there's a link. Is there a Discord link on the Twitter handle for the Crypto Monster Lab?
Yes, there should be links on Discord. Sorry, on our Twitter account. There should be like links to Discord, to our website, and on our website there's also links to our Discord.
So we encourage everybody to join you on the Discord, and so that's going to be amazing because a lot of the Ethereans, especially some of the other projects are great supporters. So I'm looking forward to the day. So it's actually so what's today, the 22nd? So it's actually 10 days. So 10 days from now you'll be minting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And so the pre-sale will go on. Is there a specific date for the pre-sale?
I can jump in here, Santiago.
Right.
We're going to be announcing, just like everyone should just become a member of our Discord, follow our Twitter. We're going to be announcing the plan pretty much throughout next week as exactly how this is going to work. We're still like so we haven't even contacted some of these communities yet. So we're kind of starting a marketing push on that early next week. So we'll have everything fleshed out by next week, exactly what days they can come and about. And definitely if you're part of any of these communities, you'll possibly be hearing about it from within, those Discords also with the specific plans and how we're doing it. But the easy part is we're building into the contract the ability that these communities don't have to do anything. As long as you hold one of the tokens in them, you can just come in and mint, and you'll be approved immediately. So there's no whitelist, there's no nothing complex. It's already going to be done for these specific communities. Regarding the whitelist in our Discord, still working out the details of exactly whether it's going to be a password mint or we're going to have a whitelist on the contract. We just have to see how many people are actually part of that list. If it's not that many, we'll probably just do a contract. We'll just have it built into the contract. So yeah.
I know.
Go ahead.
I know that that's the beauty of it, right? That's what I love about the Web3 and token aspect of it, right? And that's that for some of these projects that you want to get in, all you need is the Web3 Connect, MetaMask, or a Web3 wallet, and then it'll recognize like in this case, it'll recognize that I own or that I own a Wikicranium or that I own a particular. So like for me, I love that because I happen to own all tokens, right? So it's great because I can log in, and the moment I log in, it's automatically going to recognize, and it's going to basically allow me to mint, right? And so it's a smart contract function. So without getting into techie, that's one of the things that I know that we were working when we did Ethereum, because on the Ethereums, you had two projects that were allowed to mint, which were the people who had gotten early access, became early adopters. So the first people who joined Discord were able to become early adopters and were allowed to mint. And then we all had the Ether card holders who were also able to mint. This is to me a really elegant way of doing it, because if you allow people who have access to those particular projects access to mint, then it sort of avoids, in some respects, the gas war, at least for those individuals that mint on those particular privileges. But yeah, the rest of it would be open for public.
Yeah, and the one thing Santiago said about the project that I think is really unique, and I'm sure there's other projects that have done this, but it's not that typical, is that the 10K collection is going to have 13 different monsters, and they're all have, in some cases, their own individual traits, and in some cases, similar traits throughout all the monsters. So it's what I have Santiago doing now, he's pretty much building collections, or 13 different collections for one mint. And usually most collectors are one, an ape or a cat, and then they just make a few traits for them and then run the generative program. But I think that's very unique.
He's making me work hard. Yeah. So
Well,
it'll be worth it. It's really like, 'cause, yeah, we keep adding, coming up with more and more ideas for accessories and like the different colors for the like for the body. I just pinned actually last that Drop Acid just did, and I did basically like a big I did sort of like a music inspired Bigfoot. So this one that you see on his tweet is like in like when I was a kid, I remember like the first time that I saw like a music video was by the band Kiss, and I was just like blown away by the makeup. And I was like, I don't know, really young, like 10 or so, and so I that's always like stayed with me, just sitting there. So this Bigfoot has sort of like a Kiss kind of vibe for it, and I also did like a Ziggy Stardust Bigfoot as well. So I'm just having fun playing with like different sort of kind of bringing like pop culture into the collection as well.
So Santiago, for the benefit of the younger crowd, tell them who Ziggy Stardust is.
Yeah, that's like well, if they know David Bowie, he's a musician from I don't know 70s, I guess. Or, but Ziggy Stardust was it a character that he created?
I believe so. Yeah, Ziggy is part of a character that he developed around the whole aspect of space travel.
Yeah, and there's like a really cool story behind it too, and but visually though, it has like a kind of like a lightning bolt, like painted on his face basically, and so once the collection comes out, I'm sure you'll see the Ziggy Bigfoot.
Ziggy Bigfoot. That's I can't wait to see Ziggy. Bigfoot inspired Ziggy Stardust.
Yep.
I'm just excited. Go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead. No. I want to hear Drop Acid with, because my mind is racing right now because I'm a big David Bowie fan. I'm like, like I grew up. I'm old enough to. I'm older than Santiago, so I grew up with David Bowie. So I'm thinking, oh my God, wait, I'm gonna get to see Ziggy Stardust.
It's cool looking though, man. But I like it because like I'll give Santiago crazy ideas to put in. At first you got to put a VR helmet, VR goggles in, and he's like, and I know he's thinking like, yeah, but crypto monsters don't wear VR goggles. I'm like, well, now they do. Cool.
Yeah, and so this goes back. I'm actually liking this more and more as you and Drop Acid describe it, because Ziggy Stardust is Bowie's. He's essentially Bowie's alter ego, right? So Ziggy Stardust, and what I love about the crypto space is that we see so much diversity in this space, right? And so Ziggy is it's kind of a fictional, androgynous, I would say, bisexual rock star, and he's sort of sent to Earth. So he's kind of like an Ethereum because he was sent to Earth. He's not from Earth, but he's sent to Earth. Sort of, to, in this case, it's all around the persona that Bowie built around, the whole, the whole Ziggy Stardust character, right? But yeah, no, I'm actually really looking forward to seeing this because I've been a big Bowie fan, but so yeah, and once again, I'm really familiar with Santiago, so I love the way Santiago's mind works because I think I'm gonna take a picture of it and I'm gonna share it as a tweet because I have here in the office I have a piece that you did a while back that I'm gonna take a picture of it and I'll tweet it. It's a really unique piece that I commissioned from you, and so once again, I really love the vibrant colors that you use in your art. I'm looking forward to seeing those and Drop Acid kind of alluded to it that there's a lot of other projects that are launching around the NFT space, but I think very few of them have the level of art that you're going to be bringing to the Crypto Monsters Lab. And I noticed that you guys recently had a brief discussion with Crypto Nova, who's in the audience. I love his content. love what he's been doing in the space. And I was happy to see that he was highlighting. It was kind of a surprise because it just popped up in my feed, and I'm like, oh, whoa, the Crypto Nova was discussing Crypto Monsters Live. So it's kind of interesting because he was discussing before I was discussing it. So I was like happy that you had gotten that attention.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. We really enjoyed that. Yeah.
So, go ahead.
No, yeah, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Yeah, so I think so we have we're about 20 minutes out of closing out the room, but we have some other people on the stage. If anybody has any questions, please raise your hand. Happy to have you join in the conversation. I see some people in the room that it's really late for them, so I'm happy that they're joining us and supporting us. So I don't know if you, Santiago or Rabat, want to say anything about the project that we haven't touched on, perhaps. And then I'll let you answer that, and then I'll bring OGs up to speak because he's got his hand up.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Let's hear from OGs actually.
All right, OGs, mic's yours.
Hey guys, I just want to thank you all so much for everything you're doing in the space, and Tony, all that you do for all the artists. Santiago, I really appreciate your work. Hoping to pick up quite a few minutes here on this, and I was wondering if we could get some more world updates on your Twitter feed.
No, I've been so busy that I have not had a post about our wild pet squirrel that we have here. Yeah, we rescued a squirrel last year during there were some fires here in Oregon, and we found this like little baby squirrel that was like almost dead. Brought it back to life, and just set it free right once it was healthy. But it just comes back because so he can get free nuts from us.
So wait, did you guys name the squirrel?
Yeah, it's Mr. Peanut.
Santiago, you got to make it a critter in the collection, man.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, wait, that. I mean, now I'm starting to envision that maybe the scientist, the mad scientist, Santiago, who's working with all these cryptids, it's actually you.
Yep, I got all that. I know it's funny.
I think it is him.
Yeah, I mean it is funny because where I live, it's like out of my backyard I see like there's like deer and squirrels and all kinds of creatures. So and that's why I kind of wanted the sort of the Crypto Monster Lab to be based in the Pacific Northwest, because we also have Bigfoot, and so it just made sense to have.
So Santiago, I just have one question. By chance, does your house have a basement?
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah. So drop as it all makes full sense. I always wonder why Santiago would move from sunny Southern California to the Oregon woods, and now it don't make sense. It's like he's got a basement, right? So all the clues are there. He's got a basement. He's rescuing and experimenting with squirrels. And geez, I think you're about to see way more stuff on squirrels than you probably bargained for.
Yeah, we'll see some Squirrelzilla.
Thank you.
NFT Kyle, I brought you up to the speaker. I don't know if you have any questions for Santiago or Drop Acid. Thank you for joining us. But if anybody else has any questions, please come up and let's see. We got Crypto Monster Lab. You've been authorized to speak, so.
No questions, but I definitely like the art. I look forward to the drop.
Cool.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hi, I just want to say that Santiago, one of Santiago's and the entire team's main concern was the longevity of the project, how committed they are for the long-term value of the project. That's one of the things that Santiago stressed out the most at the very beginning. He is really proud of his work, and so are we. I fell in love with his art when Tony, you showed me that painting you have in your office.
Mm-hmm.
And we spent a lot of time discussing that aspect of the project. Santiago was very, very clear on the fact that he wants to see the Crypto Monster Lab still up and running 10 years from today. And that level of commitment, it's great for the entire NFT community. As we see a lot of projects coming up on a daily basis, projects like this one are different because the team is solid, committed, and they have a clear vision for the long term. The roadmap is only the tip of the iceberg. Santiago, Drop Acid, and the rest of the team have come up with some incredible ideas. And if those ideas are executed, this can be up there with, I don't know if I may be out of line, but Bored Ape, hey, we have a chance of making this to that level.
Yeah. Well, I applaud your ambition. So Bored Apes is a phenomenal project. There's as you can tell, Rob Bassett has his proudly displaying his Bored Ape. Bored Ape is a unique project that made tremendous headway. And so I applaud your ambition. And I do see Santiago that you guys have once again a kind of is that an AMA that you have tomorrow at 12 p.m. PST. You'll be showing some of your work on the lab live. Is that a AMA session happening on Discord? What's happening with that?
Yeah, it'll be in our Discord. It's basically like I'll just be streaming. Like I'll be working on one of the monsters.
Oh, nice.
Live. Yeah, so I'll be like screen sharing, and I did it just a few days ago. It was just a few people, but it was actually kind of fun.
Those are a lot of fun. I'm glad you're doing that because I think for a lot of we love seeing the art behind the scenes, right? How does it sketch out? And I know that I'm privy to your style or your process because I've seen you do those before, and you have a number of even foundation pieces you have are somewhat in that genre where you show how some of the process that you do to create your art pieces. So once again, that's going to be tomorrow afternoon, and the access to it is on the Discord channel, Santiago?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I think we're hearing we got about 10 minutes left. Anything else that we want to cover today, Santiago?
Yeah, I just want to say, real quick, just being able to see Santiago work. He's actually good and quick at making changes at a request and stuff, so it's pretty amazing. But I just think out of so many projects that I've minted, I think the very unique thing about our mint is going to be say you mint 10, say you mint 5. There's like a possibility. Say you mint 5, there's a possibility you'll get 5 different monsters. Like it's not going to be the same monster. There's like a good chance that you can 10 mints get 10 different monsters. And we're also building. The monsters will have rarity within the collection. So some monsters will be rarer than other ones. So it's kind of crazy because we're trying to figure okay, we have 2 levels of rarity. You have a rarity of how many times a monster shows up in the collection, and then you have rarity within each monster. So it's kind of it kind of gets confusing, but it's a fun, challenging project. I think what me and Santiago are trying to pull off.
Nice. So Santiago, to pick up on Drop Acid, with the whole, the rarities and the different types of monsters. Let's recap a little bit about the lab because what to me when the project was being described to me, I really was intrigued by the lab. Let's go back now that we've now figured out that you're the scientist, the mad scientist, and that you have your basement in the woods of Oregon. Talk about what potentially could we see from the lab presently, and what is the future plans for the lab?
So the first thing that we know for sure that we want to do is once you have, let's say, 2 different 2 crypto monsters. Let's say you have a chupacabra and a Bigfoot. You know, you basically you can combine both, and then the traits will get all mixed. You know, so you get end up with like the torso of chupacabra, but the arms are for Bigfoot. The head can be chupacabra, but like the eyes, it could be like Bigfoot's eyes. You know, but it's also like it's also like inspired by, you know, it's like a Frankenstein type of thing. So they'll be all like stitched up and just, you know, it would be like these kind of crazy mutated crypto monsters. So that's one thing, right? And then we also have like the, you know, the ETH berries that the crypto monsters eat, and some of them can be sort of, you know, toxic, and so they could be mutated. And so we also want to have some, you know, basically play with the idea of like the ETH berries lab and the and potions and what, you know, what kind of things could happen with the ETH berries and the monsters in the lab. Then I also like the idea of like, so we also have for the accessories, there's going to be a lab coat and safety goggles, and so there are going to be some crypto monsters that will get a lab coat and safety goggles. So sort of like, you know, there could also be some kind of crypto monster takeover of the lab as well. So, and there's like, I don't know, there's like a lot of things that we're thinking about doing with the lab. And but like I said before, yeah.
So it's either they can either take over the lab, or they become essentially your other cryptid kind of slaves.
Yeah. So, right. So yeah, we and yeah, I guess kind of also like, I think that's another thing that we can do too, is like give people the option, like, do you want to be a monster, or do you want to be a mad scientist, right? But also like I was saying before, I also want to give like community like a voice and have them like also help shape the lab and see what kind of ideas they have, and, you know, what they want to do with it.
Nice. Now let's one thing that I do want to go over again. You mentioned ETH berries on a couple of occasions, and I don't, if you don't want to reveal it, it's fine. But is the ETH berry potentially down the road, could it become a token?
Yes, definitely. Why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Ah, interesting. Okay, I love that because one of the things that I'm seeing from projects, and, you know, obviously the Ethereum's just launched the Invader token. More importantly, you had recent projects that have made huge headways in the roadmap. For instance, Cyberkongs with bananas, and you have Anonymize with cheese. You had Sewer Rats who did cheese first. You know, that's the reason why Anonymize had to do cheese, because cheese as a token was already taken by the Sewer Rats. But you're seeing, you know, so yeah, so I mean, how much can you guys share about the whole ETHberry ecosystem?
We don't really have a whole lot of detail on it yet. It's a pretty sort of like abstract idea right now. Yeah,
It's a secret.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's a lab. You know, we can't reveal all the secrets.
So in other words, you guys are still in the experimentation process. So it's okay.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah.
We can leave it at that. OGs has this kind of, OGs, what did you have a question?
Well, I'm not gonna plug Ether cards because you've already done that, Tony. But I am a little bit curious as to whether or not us will be playing into the Monster Lab.
So okay, all right. So full disclosure for everybody in the room, I am one of the 10 creators of Ether cards, and I'm at full disclosure for the room. I'm also a very small, advisor on the Crypto Monsters Lab project. Although, you know, just for everybody's, I've been very, very loosely involved, just basically as kind of like a sound advisor to them. But I guess, OGs, I can respond to you this way. If I have anything to do with it, Dust will play a part in the Crypto Monsters Lab.
Tony and OG, that's a really good idea. Let's bring up.
So OG's, because I want to get OG's response on this, And I'm sorry, but I'm gonna mute other people in the room because there's a feedback. So if you're not speaking, please mute your microphone, just because that way it doesn't cause any feedback with everybody else. So, but back to OG's question. Yeah, OG. So Dust, for those who are unfamiliar, EtherCards, which is one of the projects that I'm kind of behind, as a creator, for instance, EtherCards released Dust, right? So with Dust, so a little bit about EtherCards. EtherCards is a collectible. It's a monetization gamification platform for NFTs. For those of you who aren't familiar with it, and what collectibles do they sit on your shelf and they collect dust, and that's how Dust was conceived. And so EtherCard holders will receive. And so once again, I'm an advisor to a couple projects, and one of the projects that I can't speak of right now that's already, and I can disclose it, is that the Ethereans, for instance, will have Dust. The Ethereans will have Dust. It's a project unrelated to crypto monsters, even though in the future I mentioned. But with Dust on the Ethereum platform, it's going to be used, without giving too many details, it's going to be used in some way to, dare I say, fuel? I guess I could say fuel. We already said it. So it'll fuel a certain feature within the Ethereans. So geez, to answer your question, Dust for me plays a really interesting. It plays a really interesting role within the ecosystem of NFTs. It does really sort of misunderstood, and without getting too much into it, right now it is pegged to the CryptoPunks that remain within the EtherCards pool need to be pulled out. There's only 21 remaining, so right now Dust 35 cents per token, but that'll change, right? Once those punks are gone, the Dust is going to find a different price. But I think I'm stating that because I want anybody to ape in just because I mentioned Dust. I don't want them to go to Uniswap and start thinking, oh, the Dust, let me accumulate a bunch of Dust. No, I think Dust is more of a airdropped into different ecosystems for the functionality of whatever that ecosystem or that NFT project is doing, right? So Dust for me, I don't want to hear, but Dust for me, any project that I can get to Dust within their ecosystem, I'm going to certainly propose it. So with that, I'll leave it at that.
Well,
Let's talk, Tony.
yeah, I mean, labs do get dusty sometimes, right? So
Yeah, if there's anything that a mad scientist has, is he has a dust problem.
yeah.
There's a dust problem. So, OGs, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I just really appreciate your time, Tony. Thank you. And also, Santiago, I actually learned about your artwork through EtherCards as well. So
cool.
I appreciate that too.
Yeah. So thanks for bringing that up, OGs. So just for everybody's, when I reached out to Santiago, I said, look, we have this project, and at that time we were looking for artists to contribute to the EtherCards platform as far as the cards and the artwork that would be on the cards. So Santiago was gracious enough that he heard me out. He didn't hang up on me and what is this crazy stuff that you want to tell me about NFTs? He actually contributed some art, which was really helpful, and so he was able to get that exposure from the community of EtherCards. So that's really good.
I just want to let everybody know real quick. There's 75 people in the Crypto Monster Lab Discord, so 25 left to be in the first 100 group.
Thank you, NFC Kyle. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So for those of you who haven't joined the Crypto Monsters Lab Discord channel, please do so. Head over there. That's the primary. I would imagine that's the primary communication platform, Santiago, that you and Drop Acid and the team are using, correct?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. And we want to get more people in there so they can all get access to the pre-sale.
Is there a limit to the pre-sale? What number are you going to go for as far as the adopters?
I think right now we're at 1,000, but if all of a sudden it starts blowing up, we probably will increase it.
Okay. All right. So it's plenty early for people to get in. So encourage I encourage anybody that's looking at the project to get in it, and then invite anybody else that they think might be interested in it. So, all right, gentlemen. So we're about 2 minutes away from closing it out.
Can I mention one last thing?
Sure.
Stay tuned to the Twitter channel because we're doing a lot of giveaways. A lot of cool things are happening on the Twitter channel as well. So definitely join Discord and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. Anything that you can hint about the giveaways?
Santiago, you want to take that one?
Let's see. We're gonna have one for sure this weekend. So make sure you follow us on Twitter, and yeah, we'll have one this weekend for sure. And I want to find like fun ways to do it as well. But so yeah, stay tuned.
Great, awesome. All right, gentlemen. So we have a minute left. Any parting comments?
Thank you, Tony, for hosting this. We truly appreciate it. We know how busy you are, but we appreciate your interest in the project. We know you are definitely a connoisseur of NFTs. You're an expert. If anybody out there knows NFTs, it's you. So we really appreciate you taking the time to be part of this team, support Crypto Monster Lab, and again, can't thank you enough.
Thank you. No, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Santiago. I'm also a huge fan of Drop Acid's development skills. So I want to support both of them. They're selfishly, I'm not only a collector, but I'm also trying to invest in other projects that I find value into the ecosystem. So supporting Santiago and Drop Acid and the team was kind of a no-brainer for me. I do have, so thank you for that though. So we do have NFC Kyle who raised his hand. NFC?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask if I heard you correctly saying that the Ethereans are going to start earning dust, and if so, how are we going to go about that?
So, all right. So I'm going to do something here. Let me invite Oscar up to the stage. So I invite him. So yeah, so NFT Kyle, dust once again is going to play a part in the Ethereum's ecosystem because what do all Ethereans have? Like Ziggy Stardust, they had to arrive on Earth somehow, right, Kyle? So if I ask you what do all Ethereans have, is they had to come via spaceships, right? And so with that, let me bring up Oscar and ask Oscar, can you give a little bit of hint as to how dust would feature into the Ethereum ecosystem?
Hello, guys. Yeah. Well, we are thinking that the dust will play a role on the thing with the spaceships. It's kind of like the fuel, or we are imagining that the dust will be the fuel that the spaceships will use. So we're trying to see how we are going to integrate this feature on the app, and what kind of interesting things we can do with combination or using dust with the invader token. So yeah, basically we want to see how can we explore with these two tokens, the dust and the invader token. But yeah, Tony said pretty much everything that we want to use dust on the app. So yeah, it's part of the plan.
Nice, that's exciting. Awesome.
Thank you, NFT Kyle. So one of the things that we didn't touch a lot on today, and I do want to highlight with Santiago and with Drop Acid, is that this is a project that is also very much community driven, and that it includes a lot of community from spaces that we traditionally don't see, right? Which is like the Ethereans is made up of a very eclectic and diverse mix of community. In this case, Santiago, we didn't talk about it, but your heritage originally, you're originally born where?
In Peru. Yeah, I was born in Peru. Yeah, I came to the States when I was like 13. Yeah, so sometime in the mid 80s. So yeah, I'm old.
Yeah, I'm older than you, so it's okay. But it's good to have you. And I know that Drop Bass said you have some Latino heritage yourself, right?
Yeah, I'm a big, I guess, indigenous Ecuadorian, and about I'm half Ecuadorian. So
Nice.
yes.
Nice. So you're like similar to the cryptids. You're kind of like a lab result.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did bring up Herb to the stage because I wanted to have Herb come in because we were talking a little bit about diversity, and Herb and I met in the spaces a little while back, and Herb and I just recently got contacted by a big exchange regarding doing something in Spanish, and we haven't spoken today in Spanish, but Santiago and a lot of the members from the team of Crypto Monsters Lab do speak Spanish. But yeah, I want to. The only reason I'm highlighting that is because one of the things that I'm also very focused on is bringing more diversity to the NFT space. The NFT space, like the crypto space, tends to be predominantly white, predominantly male, and we want to do more to bring in more people of color into the ecosystem, as well as women. So I'm happy to do that, and I wanted to bring up Herb because Herb and I are looking to do some more engagement with the community to where we can drive that adoption, not only for people to want to do projects like this particular one with Crypto Monster Lab, but also individuals that just want to come into the ecosystem and be collectors of NFTs and pursue art or music as NFTs. So Herb, welcome to the stage. How are you?
Thanks so much for having me and for bringing me up. Drop Acid is a really good friend, so it's a pleasure to be listening about Crypto Monster Lab. What up, Drop?
What's up, Herb? Nice to see you again, man.
Of course. I think, I run the Oshiny show in the mornings, and this whole week we focused on people around the world, and we had people from Singapore. It's like no taxes, great art, all led through women and the way that they are grouping up. We heard from people in Haiti, Cuba. We heard from people in Atlanta, Jamaica, how the bobsled team is not counting on its government and just doing NFTs to fund its own bobsled team. And it's really about how there's already real life implementations of crypto. And so we tend to be a little speculative. And in El Salvador, right, they made Bitcoin into the currency that people are using every day now. And so my family who's from El Salvador, I can call them and I'm asking them and they're telling me, Herbert, I'm getting paid in Bitcoin on Thursday, but I have to pay rent Sunday and the exchanges aren't moving fast enough and the fees are too steep. And so those real life issues, I think if we bring them to the surface, there are enough builders and developers and creatives that can actually help create those new infrastructures. And I have a lot of friends from traditional sort of tech startup that I think would be great Solidity devs, but they're not quite here yet. And a lot of them are brown. And so for me, like the ape that I'm wearing, my goal is to make a Central American DAO, started with this piece of artwork, and to have a whole generation of brown engineers and artists, and the way that shapes how we tell stories, so that we have, people who have full lives who are of color.
That's awesome. No, I love to hear that, Herb. I know that for those in the audience, you happen to run the Oshiny show with Oshiny, and you guys are killing it. I've spoken with Oshiny in the past, and for those in the room, the Oshiny show is pretty much every day, right, Herb?
Every day at 11 a.m. Eastern time, we wake up together.
And I love that you guys are covering a lot of really interesting topics in the space, including, like you mentioned, the diversity in the space, right? Like with when in the summer when DeFi was trending, you saw like this huge surge of NFT Asia, right? Where like crypto Asia, and now I think you're starting to see like this with Bitcoin being adopted as legal tender in El Salvador, you're starting to see for a while there you saw in the NFT space or the crypto space a lot of South Americans were predominantly Argentina, but now you're starting to see other small communities pop up. And what I'm really excited about is, and you guys at the Oshiny Show have covered it, is the whole play to earn model, right? And Drop Acid and Santiago were discussing the ETH berries earlier in the ecosystem. And I know that this is something in the works for Oscar and Raul within the Ethereans. But one of the things that would be really interesting is like the Axie Infinity, is the oncoming or potential projects that could do that play to earn model, right? That play to earn model has been a game changer for a lot of communities. Like in this case, in the case of Axie Infinity, there are tons of Filipinos who are
That's the majority of people probably on crypto right now. Is
Yeah.
people in the Philippines. Like
Yep.
I know that we don't talk about it as much in these spaces, but you're totally right, Tony.
Yeah, no, and I'm really looking forward to working with. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to support Crypto Monster Lab, including the Ethereans, as well as the Ethereans, is because I'm really wanting to search those projects, like you mentioned, Herb. Like you have such talented individuals in other countries that could be Solidity devs, that could be in-game players, that could be all sorts of things, and all they really need is that infrastructure from which to participate. Crypto allows that, right? So crypto allows anybody to download a wallet and participate in crypto. And you know, I'm really wanting to explore that area because that's something that I'm passionate about in terms of like more inclusivity, bringing more people into the community. And that's what I love about crypto, because I tell people you could actually join a DAO or you could join a project. And guess what? You don't need anybody's permission to join a project. If you want to join Crypto Monster Lab, all you got to do is buy the token. If you want to join Waves, all you got to do is buy.
I had to leave, running out of time, but I was just trying some new technology there. Big shout out to Crypto Monster Lab. Tony was in there modding that whole exchange, but from Santiago down to Drop Acid, you can see the popularity in that project. Cool stuff from cool people. Just want to make sure that you guys are getting all that information right to you. You need more information, hit up the Novoverse. You get your filters there. And that's it for me for right now. I'm going to be degenning. I got a couple meetings in a couple minutes, but hit me up, Crypto Novo. Follow me. I'm almost at 7K, so let's bump that number. With that being said, stay positive and love life. Peace.